Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. Today we want to take you on a little bit of a journey on our property and kind of show you what we're doing. We have plans in the future to be able to purchase some of the smaller breed cattle for Wanda and I. But before we can do that, we need to get our infrastructure taken care of. And one of the things that we want to do is get some of our land opened up. We want to be able to get fencing up and get paddocks in because we need to be able to rotate animals. And we also want to get some meat goats to go along with a couple of breed cows because we're about 80% sustainable here, and the other 5 to 10% that we need is in meat. Now we do chickens and we do rabbits, but at the same time we need beef. And we do wild game also. But the beef is one of our main things. We do pork on the place here. But we're looking to add beef to that, which will give us about a 90% sustainability here at Deep South Homestead. But where we're at right now is building infrastructure. You want to always make sure that your infrastructure is built before you actually bring animals to the property. And where we're at right now is you're looking here. You'll see a lane opened up through our woods here to the neighbor's property on the other side of us. This is going to be one of the fence rows that we put in. We've got our property blocked off into 3/4 acre blocks. Now there's going to be some of this that's not going to have any grass on it at all. Some of it that'll have a little bit of grass, and then there'll be some of it that'll have a lot of grass. So what we're going to do is we'll have different paddocks for different things. Now in the wintertime, this is all oak trees, and these oak trees load up with acorns. So in the wintertime, the cattle will be back on the other side of the farm. The pigs will be brought over in here to this side because of the high amount of acorns that they can utilize to fatten up on. So we'll be rotating different animals to different places on our farm at different times of the year. Now in our pastures here in the back, we'll be planting things like wheat and ryegrass and oats and things like that, clovers, to sustain a cow through the winter months because here it doesn't get cold enough to kill the grass if it's a winter grass. And what that will do is that will keep our cattle eating good green grass all winter. We can supplement it with hay. And at the meantime, we can move the pigs over here, like I mentioned, under the trees. They can eat acorns and stuff like that. They don't eat a lot of grass anyway during the winter months. So that is our desire here on the homestead. Now we're going to pan around here and we're going to show you this first paddock here that we got started and how we've cleaned it up and how it's going to have some grass and some brush. Okay, this is going to be our first shot of our first place we've been clearing on our property here. This is the first 3/4 acre paddock. As you can see, the upper part still has a lot of woods and bushes in it for goats, where they'd have something to browse on. But as you come around, you will notice that you see the edge of our roadway out there. There's grass growing over there. We have Argentina Bahia grass started along the edges. And you see a good bit of clearing in here where we've been pushing brush and all this kind of stuff. And we're going to try to get all this planted in some grass so that it will, won't wash, and we'll be able to have something for the animals to graze on. Now, I know some grasses in some places don't grow good under trees, but here in the south where we live at, grass will do pretty fair under trees because we just have such high heat. The trees actually shade the grass a little bit and help to keep it cooler, which actually helps it to grow. So that's our first paddock, and we're going to turn around here and show you the second one in just a minute. All right, guys, as you're looking here, you look back up to where we were just at on top of the hill up here. We're going to be running a fence down through this area right here. This will be one of the fences to our paddock here. And as I turn around and I look to my left to be your right, I will be able to show you the pasture out here, some of our pasture land that we're going to be fencing in. This fence will turn and run across out there. It's going to come out here, it'll be a fence. All this is about 3/4 acre of green pasture out in here. And then we're going to come back in this way now, and we'll turn completely around and show you this right here is where the other fence is going to go through our property up through here. It'll go all the way up to the my other land line up here toward the neighbor's house. This will be another 3/4 acre paddock here. Now this one It's predominantly woods in here. It's going to be real good for goat browsing, for hogs eating acorns and stuff like that. Cows will be able to munch a little bit on it, but the cows will mainly be able to go to this pasture behind me that we showed you to start with to get grass, and we'll be able to utilize the best of all the worlds inside this area right here. We're going to move up the hill now and show you the next paddock. Okay guys, we were just at the bottom of the hill right down here. We're going to be running a fence up through here. It's going to come up to here where the camera is at, and then it's going to pan to my right, which will be your left. You'll see that we've taken the tractor. We've opened up another road through the woods here to the neighbor's fence out in the back. This here is predominantly all woods also. This will be mainly for goat and pig browse. In this particular paddock, there will be a small area here behind me to where we will be adding some grass for a cow or something other to graze a little bit on. You can see we've got, this is where one of our gardens was here. We're not going to put a garden here anymore. We're going to turn this into a grazing lot so that the animals will have plenty to graze on here, instead of using it for a garden, because it just didn't pan out to be a good garden spot for us. Okay, this is the third paddock. We're now fixing to move over to a fourth one we have. Okay, as you can see, we've got this lane through the woods here now we were just looking at. Around, I have pushed another road through the woods here with the tractor. We're going to be putting a fence over there. This will create paddock number 4. This goes all the way to the back part of our property back in here. That will give us 4 3/4 acre paddocks on this side of our property. Now we're going to move to the back side of our property. Okay, we're back in the back part of our property now. Right here is where we were just standing at, looking down this way here toward where the camera is sitting. Now as we turn the camera around, you'll be able to see the back, one of the back fences we're going to be putting in. It will go right straight across through this opening right through here. I pushed a road all the way through our property back over into here. There's another fence back here. We're going to run a fence all the way through here to the camera, and that will give us another paddock back in this part right here. All this will be wooded with acorns, and we'll go on here. I have a fence, and this is the back of my land back in here. We'll be going back to that back fence down this line here, and we'll be creating our 5th 3/4 acre paddock on our property here. So we're going to be moving now back in this direction. We're going to go all the way over to here, and we're going to show you where we're going to go from that point. Okay guys, we're on the back side of the corner now in the middle of our property. We were just right over here. As you can see where we were, we're at that back fence I was showing you just a minute ago. In here behind me, we already have some grass growing in here. We're going to try to keep this grass pretty and green. We may throw a little winter grass in here for the animals to eat on. If you come around, you'll see there's a fence here in the middle of our property. This is the bench back here in the back you're looking at now that you saw on the video, The Journey, or on All God's Children. It's that same bench we have here. You'll see we have a fence back here in the back. You can see it right here. We're there. It's right there. This is a fence across the middle of our property, and we have a paddock in behind me here that's actually a couple of acres in that paddock. Okay guys, you're looking at where we were standing right back here. Now we're going to come around. I'm going to show you the back field here. This is a several acre paddock we have here. You go through the gate right here at this gate, you get into this field back here. Now this one here, this field goes off into a running creek down at the bottom and wraps all the way around and comes back around to my barn around over here, which makes this a probably about 2 to 3 acre field back down here. And what we've done is we've ended up with our homestead being right in the center of our property. Our house and our barn is in the center of the property, and the gardens are all in the center, and we've put all of our paddocks around the outside edges of our land. Now in a minute we're going to go down and we're going to show you the back pasture where the Danny corn was at, and that will show you our last, well, not our last paddock, our next to the last paddock that we have. And what you're looking at here is, I don't know, the camera's probably not doing it justice, but once you get right here on this terrace, the land just drops straight down into a real steep holler down in the bottom. That's where we're talking about putting a pond in here. You're looking at the Martin box. This is where the dam is going to go across, and you'll be able to get a little bit better vision of the whole bottom in here that we're going to be wanting to put the pond in. It will actually encompass the whole bottom all the way down through this thing here. The pig pen will actually be gone. We're going to take up everything that has to do with the pig pen and take it out of here, and that'll all just be water. But you can see now it'll go all the way up to the old gravel pit up there, and that'll be the head of the pond, which will provide, like I said, water for the animals and fish for us to eat. This particular holler has a live stream in it, about 1 foot wide and about 6 or 8 inches deep, coming out of the ground up there by the gravel pit. And that's what will be feeding our pond with fresh water continually. Okay, this is the paddock I was showing you just a minute ago on the back of the hill back here where we were just at. It's got some green pasture in it, some grass, and it has running water on the back side of it, which gives plenty of drinking water for the animals when they're in here. This will also make a good food plot this year in this back corner down here for the deer when we're hunting this year. Okay guys, this is where we were just at on the hill right up here. Looking back over, this is that back paddock here I was telling you about. That one is going to be a good place to put a deer food plot this year. There's a running stream right behind it. There's a running stream right here in front of it. The pig is walking through the middle of the running stream right now. At the Martin box here, you're looking straight across. This is where we're talking about putting the dam of the pond. It's from here to this other hill over there. It's about a 250-foot dam across there, which is a nice sized dam. Now coming on around, all you see this in here, this is all a running stream down through the woods here. This is going to be our back pasture that we'll probably plant in a good winter ryegrass for the animals to eat on during the winter months. Right now we have the pigs turned in there to eat up all the kernels of corn that was left over after I harvested Danny corn. Anything that they can manage to get out of there, we're letting them get it before we actually go in and plow it all up and plant it. And if you keep moving the camera on around, this right here leads all the way back up to the barn. If you keep coming this way, you'll see my barn is up there in the front. We're not going to show you it right now, but that is a lane that leads back up to the barn. Alright, this is our front paddock here. This is a pasture that's about 1.5 acres. As you can pan around here and see, it goes all the way to the gravel road that comes into our property here. It has good grass in it right now. We could actually have a cow in here right now because we have plenty of green grass. Where you're looking at right down in here, there's a running stream coming out of the ground right here that runs on down through the bottom of this holler here. We have running water in here, and of course Frankie, he just loves being in there. He's gonna have to go here before long, but this pasture will hold a cow in here right now with no problem. There's good grass in it, plus he has access to the barn from this pasture at all times. It's got fencing and electric fencing around all of it. And you can actually see the barn right here in the background behind the trees in here. These pastures go into the corral system that's at the barn so that we'd be able to handle the animals. But as you can tell, we've got plenty of green grass right now for the animals if we had us a nice young calf right now. Alright guys, I've been asked to show my corral system, so this is it. I have 2 loading chutes here. One is a longer slope and one is a steeper slope. One is wider, one is narrower. I'm in the wide one now. In the longer slope, there is another one right here over here to the side of me. This one is for smaller animals to load them in a trailer. This one right here is for larger animals to load them in a trailer. Now in the background back here, you'll see a narrow one. This is a chute that goes into my barn. There's a squeeze chute on the inside of my barn where we can squeeze a pig or a sheep or a calf down to work on him. But there's also different paddocks out here. Now I'm going to walk out here and I'm going to show you how the different gates close and how that this thing actually works. Okay guys, we will bring the animals in back field down here at this gate right here. Once I close this gate back here, the animals are completely locked inside the corral system. At that time, I can run them up into this. I can run them up into this corral right here. I can lock them into this paddock right here, and then they can go in this chute to go in the barn into the squeeze thing. Or I can bring them over here. I can run them up into this chute right here. This one closes, and when this one closes, the animals are inside this area right here. That brings them into this wide chute here if it's a larger animal, where he will turn and come up this steep chute here. Or if we've got smaller animals, we can bring them around and they can come in this smaller chute right here and go up on this one here to be loaded into a trailer. And Frankie, what do you want? And in the background over there, another paddock. That's for young pigs or young goats or young sheep to be put in so that we can wean them away from their mothers. Come on, Frankie. Come on up to shoot him, boy. Come on. Come on, you want a banana leaf? Huh? Okay guys, I hope y'all have enjoyed this journey around our property, showing you the new infrastructure we plan on putting in for our cattle with the paddocks and stuff on our land. This has been a project that we've been wanting to do for quite some time, but now that we've purchased the tractor, it's a doable thing now. Now once we get the infrastructure in, we can move forward with purchasing the cows to be able to get this project underway. And as you can see, we've got the loading system here and everything to unload and to load with. So infrastructure is extremely important when we want to have animals on the homestead. So thank you from Deep South Homestead.